Slade. Better known as Slade Wilson, or Deathstroke, the sword-toting, deadly assassin with an accelerated healing factor, wearing skin-tight uniforms and a mask from DC. Not to be mistaken for Wade Wilson, the sword-toting, deadly assassin with an accelerated healing factor, wearing skin-tight uniforms and a mask. That one's from Marvel. Deathstroke has had a long history in DC Comics, crossing many storylines and titles, serving almost always as a supervillain. He's crossed paths with the likes of Green Arrow, the Teen Titans, remaining a notable arch-nemesis to Dick Grayson as Robin and Nightwing, even so bold as to go up against Batman and the Justice League. But he's not always a horrible supervillain. In stories like the Deceased storyline, readers get to see Wilson use his healing powers and immunity to the anti-life virus to gain an anti-hero status by defending and saving a group of orphans from the infected as they try to escape an orphanage in Bloodhaven to sanctuary in Gotham Jungle with Jim Gordon, Red Hood, and Batgirl. Oh, and let's not forget Project Defiance, where Wilson, or Deathstroke, takes a life-changing experience as a reason to create and assemble a team of superheroes, including his daughter Rose and Wallace West, or Kid Flash, in his effort to change and do good. Is this a change that's destined to last? Is it even a true change of heart? Check out the story and see if perhaps this leopard can change his spots, just as he changed his suit. Regardless of the longevity of the change, we do get to forever enjoy the altered costume thanks to McFarlane Toys and Target. Hey everyone, my name is Jonathan, aka JK of JK Collects, and remember, I'll be posting new videos at least twice a week, if not more. If that sounds of interest to you, please click that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. In this episode, we are taking a closer look at the McFarlane Toys 7-inch scale gold label Target exclusive Deathstroke Defiance Edition. Okay everyone, welcome back, and here we have it, our Deathstroke Defiance Edition, aka Mr. Slade Wilson. Slade! I don't know if you remember the Teen Titans commercials from Cartoon Network. That's where I got that from. Robin kept repeating it and they kept showing it. So here we go. Let's check out the back here. And this is that Target exclusive. And I wanted to feature it because I'm starting to see it pop up again in Target with that little side cap feature. It's not always put with the regular McFarlane toys in the aisle, but a side cap like towards the end and all that. So there we go. And here's that artwork from the Defiance. Look, the Defiance line, very cool. I always love this artwork. It's on the back, nice and glossy. Mine's a little bit damaged, but you know what? That's okay. I'm not too worried about it. Deathstroke, same typical look, Deathstroke Defiance that we get from a McFarlane Toys package. So let's not spend too much time looking at a typical looking package. It does have the gold label for it being the exclusive, whichever store or retailer it is. You know, so far it's typically what, Target, Amazon, even McFarlane toy stores, or Walmart, right? That's another one. So let's pull the tray out of the way. There is our stand, and there is our same artwork, the Deathstroke Defiance, yet another card for the collection. And boom, boom. You know, I said November was the month, but next month is the month that we're heading into that great anniversary of quite a tale. All right, so let's pull the accessories out. I like that the staff is taped in and not taped in too horribly bad, so we'll pull that out. And we do still have our elastic pieces. These are kind of stretched pretty well, so let's see. Yes, there we go. I love to see that happen because it's just a lot more comforting when I don't have to worry about pulling things too tight. You know what? I'm not, unless I'm missing it, it doesn't seem like there's quite as many. There's just the one holding the waist in. Would you look at that? Unless I'm missing something against this white figure. We do have, pardon the horrible crinkling with that. Getting the cape through that little hole of the plastic is always a challenge. But yeah, that was correct. There was only one elastic rubbery piece holding that. So a couple things that kind of stand out real quick with packaging, right? So it's cool to see this change, right? Normally they had like the hook, which is prone to tearing or pulling, and you see I like to hang mine. So it's good to see the full thing with the reinforcement and then the reduction in that rubberized elastic type plastic. But enough about that. Let's get into this staff that comes with it. So not a lot of accessories, just the one. But hey, you know what? Deathstroke doesn't need a lot, right? He's just a trained assassin. Very cool textures on this thing. It's quite long. Lots of different things on it. Some knurling there and various different grip things. And it looks like on the end, almost like looks like it would serve as almost like a charge or something. You see that? It's got like an interesting texture to it. There may be a little bit more knowledge out there in the world for it, and if you do know, please throw it in the comments. I always love learning. But there we go. Solid silver color, and then, you know, that's fine, because it's what it's supposed to be, as a silver staff. But anytime that any kind of like a darker, slightly darker gray or anything like that could be put in there to bring out those details, do it, right? Anytime we get a chance. Okay. Moving on, and we're moving on quickly. Let's check out all Deathstroke. But look, we already have, yes, another accessory, right? Hidden on the figure itself. We've got a little ankle dagger, right? So there we go. Decent detail on it. Looking pretty good. I like the detail on the handle. It's got like a little wrap around it. So very cool, right? You know what? Let's put it against the white background. Looks nice, right? So that's a fun little surprise. I didn't quite notice it. I wasn't sure in taking it out. I was like, you know what? That might be something. And it turned out that it was. And there's certainly one direction to put it in there. Okay. Let's take a look at old Slade here and see what we got. Oh, I mean, just the impressions of this in the package and seeing it in that little side cap hanging. It's just so striking. Very cool looking, right? I mean, Slade is always a very cool representation. No matter what color or what suit it is, he just always has that look, right? I mean, the eye patch, all that stuff going on, and it translates over into the head. So speaking of the head, let's take a closer look at that, right? So we've got the 50-50 split down the middle, black and white, a little spy versus spy action going on there. And the black definitely shows the details that are put in there, like even the texture to it. See how it doesn't look like it's just a smooth plastic casting in there. And that's great, because I'm going to say it seems like it's very intentional, right? To give it that more rugged look. Even though he is to be a superhero in this, it is very cool to see that it's got that more rugged detail. This eye covered up, obviously, because the character, no matter what, still has that little eye patch. This one, a very thin slit, and it seems like it's very well painted in there. So yeah, happy to see this so far. And we've got this hanging out the back. It is a rubbery plastic material, so it's very flexible, which is good to see. And they seem to be cast in those colors, the appropriate colors, the black and the white. So there we go. And it is stuck in there. Like a plug into the back of the head. So it doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. It doesn't really seem like it's in a spot where it's going to get pulled or risk any kind of damage very easily. Okay, so there we go. And neck is, yep, fixed to the torso. And I don't see, yep, it looks like we just got the double ball up in there. So let's check out some flexibility. Side to side, not bad, right? Takes a little bit of effort, but once you get that effort in there, it's not bad, and it does stay. So that's always good to see. I don't have to push it and keep, if I do push it, it'll go farther, but it does pop back, but not too far. But let's see about that up and down, right? So there we go. Pretty good, right? That is far beyond looking straight forward. And then same thing with down, far beyond looking straight forward. So that profile is very good, right? Solid, but let's check this out. And there we go. Even with the cape sticking up, we've got full Exorcist rotation. So I'm happy to see all the figures that have the ability of doing that ever important rotation piece. Now this shoulder pad is rubber, right? And it's fixed to the bottom of the deltoid, the shoulder right here, so it travels up over and up underneath the cape, which is great because it does allow mobility with this butterfly joint in there, but the cape is eventually going to stop it. They're going to hit one another, but the arm does still go up pretty high. It does want to drop back down if I push it up too far. And then backwards as well, the cape kind of gets in the way. But still pretty good mobility, I gotta say. And then of course we're gonna have shoulder rotation, but the only thing that catches there is we've got that shoulder pad. Good news is we have very functional bicep tricep, right? No real interference on that one just because it's sculpted properly with the more rounded shoulder, which would be a naturally muscularly built shoulder. And then even though there is a sculpted bicep and tricep rather large on this arm, they do rotate very well. Double elbow, look at that, excellent flexibility on that. So we've got, I mean, just full flat right back on itself. So he's ready to show that gun show. No forearm. The wrist was kind of stuck, and you know, I hate to say it, but yeah, bad paint job right there. This reminds me of when I was a kid and I would do at home customs, right? Trying to get custom things and send them into Wizard. Even the white paint is flaking off as I flex that. So, oof, I'm gonna have to give it a really horrible ding on that one, because that joint has the paint on it instead of being cast. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a lot of white paint flaking off of this figure. Do you see that? That's not dandruff, ladies and gentlemen. That is white wrist paint. So there we go. I mean, it does have good flexibility once I broke the paint free, because unfortunately I did have it frozen. So we do have the McFarlane wiggle, but as we wiggle, paint keeps flying off of it every single time. So let's do this one. And I'm gonna hold it a little bit higher and a little bit further back just to see if we get some flaking, because I'm gonna move it forward and backwards. And I mean, you can see where you've got that separation. And can you see the pieces flaking down? There's a few right there. That is unfortunate. I'm gonna have to give it a serious ding on that. I like the figure, but that was a bad choice in saving money. It does have the rotation. It does have the McFarlane wiggle, but every time I do that wiggle, I've got more and more paint flaking down. So look at that. That is from one wrist, because you've seen I keep wiping this off and it just keeps flaking right back off. Okay, so let's check out the mid torso or the lower rib cage area. Decent rotation on that, flexibility. It's not one that has the set points where it stays. It doesn't really want to stay back. It'll stay forward ever so slightly, but it does have good rotation to accompany a good waist rotation. And everything seems like it is pretty well cast and painted. It doesn't seem like there's too much of a risk of rub off, because there's not too much interference. This is a rubberized white plastic, and it gives pretty well with the rotation of the waist, as you can see. Yeah, so no real issues there. That same hinge that we see in the legs for an excellent split capability. So yeah, that's a solid one right there. Very, very well done. And this does flex out of the way, including the belt, which is also a rubberized material. No thigh rotation, but we do have a double knee for that limbering up, right? So there we go. Good, ready for some good brisk running. Or mid-run right there, just sprinting through the forest. No calf rotation, but we do have good foot forward and backwards. We've got that McFarlane ball going on there with the two pegs coming off of it, so we've got a good wiggle to it, and we do have ankle braking capability, so not too bad, right? So typical articulation that we're looking for and that we can expect from McFarlane toys. Let's check out some of these paint apps. After the cape, right? So the cape is a flexible rubber material, but it is very thick. So I mean, I don't know if you can tell just by the way that it flexes when you do it. It definitely travels right back to shape. It's a very thick cape. This piece, it is attached right there to give it kind of that fluttering effect. Definitely could use an aftermarket cape. Just throwing that out there. If any of those creators or happen to watch or happen to see this at any point, I would love to see a white one. Heck, even maybe a Moon Knight cape might work on this if it's tall enough. Still getting white paint flakes. But if we look at it, right, some of the paint details, so the logo here, I would say the logo is pretty well done, right? So that's a lot of small detail on it. I appreciate the look of the stretched fabric right there to give it a material look. I don't know if you can tell, and I don't think it's from me, but the white looks a little bit dingy and dirty. This is definitely an off-white that does not match the white of the costume, but it does match the white that this rubber belt is made out of, but doesn't match the white of this. I don't know if that was intentional, right? So cape to match the utility belt to match these straps, but that is definitely the case based on the material. Now this is also a rubberized material, but it is a brighter white. So I'm very curious why that happened, because this is also, this matches this, matches this, matches cape, but then this matches everything else, which is a lot of the cast plastic or painted plastic, right? Which is the wrist, which unfortunately a lot of the black is showing through. I'm just going to go ahead and say wrists, terrible. Absolutely terrible because of the flaking paint, because of the paint, the black showing through from the cast arms, or the dark gray, I should say. But some of these textures do kind of help make up for it, right? I just got to be careful with the wrist, maybe touch them up. I do love this almost like mail looking texture in there, like a chainmail type thing. A knurling, if you will. Very cool, and I like the texture here on the pants with a little bit of silver highlight to it. Silver got a little bit sloppy right through there, but you know, Unfortunately, I'm kind of expecting not the best paint on this one. This is one of those prime examples that if we're going to just get another costume of a character, we probably would want the paint and everything to be nailed, especially if this is an exclusive, and especially if it's a Target exclusive, right? Because do I need to say it, that Target kind of has a long way to go to earn the loyalty of collectors, right? So we've had some very interesting incidents or mishaps with those. But there we go. There he is, and he does stand on his own fairly quickly. Now, I would probably put a little bit more effort into it, because you can see he's kind of leaning forward, and I use the counterbalance of the arms to offset the cape, because that cape is very heavy, and it is pulling backwards, so it does want to take him down. But there he goes. He stands pretty well on his own, and we'll be back with some 360 views of him. And here's our 360 of our guy, Slade Wilson, aka Deathstroke Defiance Edition. Good figure, right? I know that I was really rough on the wrists, the gauntlets, with the paint. That is a challenge. That is something that is a massive ding. I'm not going to be any kind of apologizer for that. Otherwise, it's a very striking figure. I like the look of it. If you can see past the wrist, the gauntlets, definitely pick it up. If you like the look of it, go for it. That's all that really matters, right? I'm a fan. I'm glad I got it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you. Well, that about does it. Thank you for checking us out and for joining us on this collecting journey, as always. Look for at least 2 new videos each week, if not more. And if you got something from today's episode and haven't already done so, please subscribe and click that like button. It would really help us out, and it would mean a lot to me. If you'd like to see some more videos, there are a couple of quick links on your screen right now for you to check out. No matter what, thank you for taking the time, and remember, we are all in this world of collecting together. Let's look out for each other. Thanks.